My mother was insulted on the floor of the house. The chief minister said nothing. The MLAs who have left YCP have come out publicly spoken that the chief minister calls them and says, abuse Lokesh, abuse Mr. Naidu, abuse Pawan Kalyan. It was another way of trying to stop us. But end of the day, a lion is a lion, whether it's outside or in the jail. Yes, in the interest of the state, we have aligned with Bharatiya Janata Party. So back then also Muslims never had any problem. Because Telugu Desam Party only knows one thing, Telugu people. Wherever Telugu people are, across religion, region and caste.
Is it fair to use words like unfit, unsound?
See, if over the last 4 years and 11 months, some officials have broken the law. I said I'll write their names down. When Telugu Desam Sena Bharatiya Janata Party government comes to power, we will put a judicial inquiry on it. And officials who are found guilty will be tried to the extent of the law permits.
How confident is TDP of victory in Andhra Pradesh? Why did the TDP get back into the NDA? We'll ask these and more questions to TDP leader Nara Lokesh. I'm outside his house in Vijayawada in Andhra Pradesh. From Kerala to Karnataka and now to Andhra Pradesh, I've been traveling for election coverage, and that's thanks to all the viewers and readers of the News Minute and News Laundry who have been supporting our election coverage. So before you go to listen to the interview, do remember to contribute to our election fund or become a subscriber. Hello and welcome to the coverage by the News Minute and News Laundry. Today we are in Vijayawada and speaking to us is Telugu Desam Party leader Nara Lokesh. Thank you very much for joining us. As I watch the campaign and all the speeches, there seems to be this energy, or at least this conclusion that you all have, that Jaganmohan Reddy will be voted out this time. Why is that confidence showing in TDP and Jana?
I mean, if you look at it, Jagan has made a lot of tall promises. And one of his major promises was job creation. And that he will organize mega DAC and he will fill all the government vacant posts in the first year of his governance. And it has never happened. And job creation has come to a grinding halt. So the youth are very clear that they don't want Jagan anymore. And youth is one of the largest vote bank today in the nation. Second, cost of living has gone up substantially because the government has raised so much debt to just do the welfare programs. And this has created an inflationary problem now in the state. So cost of living has gone up. And even the poor are clear that they don't want this government.
But how would TDP have done things differently if you all were in power for the last 5 years?
Well, Amaravati capital would have been, the capital works would have come to a certain phase. Definitely all the MOUs that we've had with the companies, we would have grounded all of them. It would have created close to 20 lakh jobs back then itself. Three, all the regional development programs that we had in place, a thematic based regional development program would have been implemented. So like Anantapur was automotive sector, Chittur was electronics manufacturing, Kurnool was about bringing more cement manufacturing plants, renewable energy. All these projects would have come to a logical conclusion and we would have created quite a few jobs.
But Jaganmohan Reddy did focus on welfare quite a bit. For example, he does give higher pensions. There was a lot of direct benefit transfer, especially during COVID. And the YSRCP says that they are confident because there are a lot of people who are beneficiaries of some of these schemes, and those beneficiaries could end up voting for him.
So let's take even welfare in context, right? Telugu Desam Party in 5 years increased old age pension from 200 rupees to 2000 rupees. That's an 1800 rupees increase in 5 years. Jaganmohan Reddy increased it from 2000 to 3000 in 5 years. So he increased it by 250 year. So he increased it only by 1000 rupees, while TDP did it by almost 1800 rupees. And welfare is something that TDP understands and we have done it in the past. So it's nothing that Jagan has newly invented in that sense. So but in Telugu Desam Party's tenure, we balanced both welfare and development. And that has been the success of our government.
You know, one other thing that I notice about Andhra Pradesh campaign is that everything is so personal here. In the sense that even when it comes to speeches, even when it comes to how you take on the opposition, not just from TDP, but from YSRCP also, why is the election so personal? It gets down to even personal comments.
I mean, let's put things in context, right? This entire thing was started by YCP. My mother was insulted on the floor of the house. The chief minister said nothing. when the Deputy Chief Minister used abusive words against Mr. Naidu on the floor of the House, the Chief Minister actually laughed. The MLAs who have left YCP have come out, publicly spoken, that the Chief Minister calls them and says, abuse Lokesh, abuse Mr. Naidu, abuse Pawan Kalyanji. So he habitually likes that opposition people have to be abused, and personal abuses. Even now, they continue to do it. Now let's look at Telugu Desam Party. We've never spoken about their women. We never spoke about Jaganmohan Reddy's wife. We never spoke about his mother. We never spoke about his two daughters. We take on Jagan because he has certain traits, personality traits, and it's our responsibility to expose it. And that's all we have done. We have never taken a punch below the belt. And that's been our stand from day one.
But even recently, for example, when a stone was thrown on his head, the kind of thrown as in you challenge the whole narrative of whether the stone was thrown itself. Sometimes I wonder, do these dialogues have to be there in politics? Is that what matters?
See, look at the track record of the person. 2019, it was the same drama. I'm sorry, I'm going to call it a drama now. If you look at it, it was Kodi Katti. So his own Karyakarta took a small knife, poked him. He did bleed, I'm not questioning that. But then it is his own Karyakarta. Right? And then, of course, his entire uncle's murder episode now, I think you understand who's behind it. It's quite clear in the CBI charge sheet that Avinash Reddy had a role to play. If I'm right, he's A2 or A3 in the charge sheet. So it's quite clear in that sense. But we were blamed for it. And the stone incident is exactly that. In fact, I'm questioning whether there was a stone. Because exactly a week later, the bandit is gone and there's not even a mark. I mean, when blood clots, it forms a certain mark and it takes, a month for it to disappear. But Jaganmohan Reddy doesn't even have a mark for such a deep cut. I'm really questioning, is it true? Or is this all a drama just to win some sympathy votes? So I have a right to question that.
This Vivekananda Reddy murder, even Sharmila and Vivekananda Reddy's daughter also campaigning saying that Jagan is behind. But all these years, the CBI has never implicated Jagan. Even Avinash Reddy's family has very strongly opposed whatever the CBI has been saying that there's no real proof. That is their standard. There's no real proof to connect Avinash Reddy to the murderers.
The calls exist. Okay. If you look at the person who committed the crime, went to Avinash Reddy's house. Avinash Reddy spoke to Bharatiya Reddy's personal secretary during exactly that, during the exact episode when the murder happened. There were calls among the family members. It's quite clear. CBI has made Avinash Reddy an accused of the case. Now let's go back, right? In 2019, when the murder happened, Jaganmohan Reddy conveniently blamed Mr. Naidu and Telugu Desam Party for that murder.
He continues to do that even now.
Where is the evidence? Why Telugu Desam Party or its leaders or Mr. Naidu or Lokesh have never been called for an investigation? Because we were never part of that crime. We are never part of any crime in the state. So isn't it ironic that, they have committed the crime, CBI calls them, CBI came to arrest Avinash Reddy, state police did not allow CBI to arrest him. They stood, then they bought time till he could get a bail, anticipatory bail in the High Court. And isn't this all clear that they are involved? What more evidence do we need?
Okay. So I just want to go back quickly to that thing I asked about whether it's too personal. For you, did it become very personal because your father was sent to jail? I remember speaking to you at that time and they did not allow you to even meet him initially. So did this whole thing also become very personal because of what happened in that skill development scam?
No, I mean, if you look at it from 2012, I was personally abused. They've hurled abuses against me. They've really, they made allegations that I have another wife, had a son from that wife.
From 2012?
2012. They questioned how I got into Stanford from my MBA. They said I paid a donation to get into Stanford University. And from there, they abused my mother. They verbally abused my wife. They continue to abuse me. And this is a trait of YCP. They believe that if you hurl abuses at them, they will slow down, they'll bog down.
But was it arrest a breaking point for the family?
No, we've always fought. We have always fought for what we believe is right. And, the arrest was, another way of trying to stop us. But end of the day, a lion is a lion, whether it's outside or in the jail.
Though Mr. Naidu, you and the TDP maintain that you are innocent in all the allegations, the point is he was sent to jail, and there is going to be perception amongst at least some part of the population that there cannot be smoke without fire, right? That there must have been something wrong, there must have been some corruption.
My straight question is, I've always questioned Jaganmohan Reddy in terms of his wealth, his corrupt practices. There's clear evidence of quid pro quo. Now here, where is the evidence? They said 3,000 crore scam, then they said 270 crore scam. Now they're saying 27 crore scam. And the charge sheet is not yet accepted by the court because they did not take the requisite permission of the governor, which is required under the 19, under Act 19 or Schedule 19, if I'm right. They didn't take permission because they know that the governor would not give permission because there's nothing there, there's no evidence. So it's nothing but trumped up charges. Now, if you go in the same logic, right, I have an attempt to murder case foisted against me, SC/ST case against me. And how can we now say that, Lokesh might have committed a murder or was trying to commit a murder? It's very unfair. See, Mr. Naidu has credibility. He's been in Indian politics for now over 4 decades. He's developed Hyderabad. If you look at what modern Hyderabad is today, it's all the seeds laid by Mr. Naidu. If he really wanted to make money, he could have purchased 1,000 acres in Hyderabad when land price was about 1 lakh per acre. No one would have questioned it.
But that is also one of the allegations, right? That land was bought in Amaravati for people who are related to the party and the family. There is also one case like that.
Exactly.
Yes.
They are saying it's called insider trading.
Mm.
The land was purchased after the capital was announced. And if people purchase land 100 kilometers or 150 kilometers away from the capital, how is it insider trading?
But they could have had information, is what they're saying. That
Then they would have purchased within the core capital region.
Mm.
They would have purchased land in the business district. Why will they buy land 100 kilometers away? Please explain this to me. The land purchased, if you look at it by road, it's close to about anywhere between 100 to 120 kilometers. So if they wanted to buy land, and if they had inside information, they would have bought it in the core capital area, in the business district area.
Hmm.
And how is this fair?
Okay, now I want to move on to the question of alliances, which is what I think a lot of people outside Andhra Pradesh are also wondering. This time you have aligned with the Jana Sena and the BJP. Why the BJP? Because you left the NDA, and at that time you said that the special category status was not given to Andhra Pradesh. What has changed now? Has the BJP said if they come back to power, they will give the special category status?
No, the reason we have aligned with the Bharatiya Janata Party is quite clear. Fundamentally, we now have close to 12 to 13 lakh crores of debt under the current administration. And we need support of the central government going forward. If we need to continue the welfare programs, if we need to execute on our housing program, if Amaravati has to take shape, Polaram has to be finished, Vizag railway zone has to be executed. We need to, of course, protect Vishaka steel plant. And then the backward district funds that are supposed to come have not come. We need the support of the central government to execute on all these key projects. So therefore, we have aligned with Bharatiya Janata Party.
So you are very sure that Bharatiya Janata Party is coming back to power. That is one. The second is that it sounds more like a transactional understanding, right? That if we come to power, they will help us. Is that what it is?
Yes, in the interest of the state, we have aligned with Bharatiya Janata Party.
But what about special category? Is that something that you've asked? Is that something they promised? Or that's now in the back burner, not to be spoken about?
That's currently not being bestowed on any state. But what they're giving is performance-linked incentives. So if I have to bring in electronics manufacturing, which was a focus area of Telugu Desam Party government, we need performance-linked incentives to come. So that is where we are expecting a huge help coming from Bharatiya Janata Party government.
But see, most southern states, including the chief ministers that your father has very closely worked with, whether it's MK Stalin, Siddaramaiah, everybody has the same complaint that the union government does not release money. And this has happened in Karnataka even when the BJP was in power. B.S. Yedurappa at one stage had asked the Prime Minister on a stage that, please give us more money. So what is the guarantee that if you are in power with the BJP, they're going to give you money? Because we don't have major proof from some of the states in southern India that that money will come.
Oh, it's also a fact that we've discussed this. We've discussed it
So
with them.
what is the discussion? What is the
We
promise?
said we need to finish Polar.
Hmm.
Amaravati should be the sole capital and we should be able to execute on it. Vizag railway zone that was promised, given, but surely because the government did not give land, it got scuttled. So we will give that land. So let's finish that. Vishaka a steel plant privatization. It's quite clear that we said if you cannot stop it, the state will buy it out and we will run it because it's a very emotive issue for the state. Backward district funds should be given. And these were all discussed, pre-discussed and agreed upon.
The TDP traditionally does have support from a lot of Muslims in the state. When you aligned with the BJP, was that not a worry that you will alienate these communities?
See, Telugu Desam Party aligning with Bharatiya Janata Party is not new. When Vajpayee ji was the Prime Minister, TDP did align, did support NDA. There's no second thought about it. Subsequent to that, in 2014 also, we were in alliance with NDA and we formed the government. Bharatiya Janata Party was part of the government in the state of Andhra Pradesh. There was no second thought about it. So back then also, Muslims never had any problem. Because Telugu Desam Party only knows one thing, Telugu people. Wherever Telugu people are, across religion, region and caste, we are here to support them. We are here for their welfare. And our agenda is we have to be number one in every sector that we operate in. So with that agenda, minorities have had no issue with Telugu Desam Party.
But Vajpayee and Narendra Modi are not the same kind of politicians. The BJP under Vajpayee is not the same as the BJP under Narendra Modi. Is that also the reason why Mr. Naidu and you have been saying in speeches that a lot of things also have been announced, like the 1 lakh rupee for the Dulhan fund, and you've already said that the Hajj Bhavan will be brought back. Is that why you have to keep on harping on the promises, because you are skeptical that there will be an alienation?
You conveniently forgot the promises we're making to the other communities also.
No, I'm not.
There's a BC declaration that we have done. For Dalits, we have done a lot of work in the past when we were in government. Implementation of the SC supplan was done. Minorities were actually protected during Telugu Desam Party's government. In fact, after YCP came, the number of suicides in minorities have gone up. So, it's very unfair to say that just because we are aligning, things will just randomly change or rapidly change. It won't happen. Because we have always stood by
Telugu
people. And that's been our track record. Look at our track record, right? And that speaks for itself.
So you're saying aligning with the BJP will not impact. My last question on this: there's a recent speech by the Prime Minister which has resulted in cases, in complaints, where he refers to Muslims as as people who have large families. I mean, of course, you are not responsible for his comment, but is that something that people have raised to TDP with concern, that there's a language being employed?
No one has questioned me on that.
But what do you feel about
No,
it?
when I'm in the field, people did ask me about the challenges of CAA. When CAA gets implemented, what are the challenges that Muslims would face? And I emphatically told that there will be no problem in Andhra and Telangana because I've read the bill. I don't see any challenge in that sense. So wherever I have absolute clarity on the bill, I've communicated the same. So we've had no problem, at least in Andhra Pradesh and in Telangana.
After the speech also, there's you personally...
No one asked me. I've done 61 Rachabandas in Mangalagiri.
I'm asking you now.
In my own constituency, and there are quite a few Muslims in my own constituency. No one has questioned. I've done it, in minority areas. So, people understand what Telugu Desam Party is because we have a track record, a 40-year track record. People understand this, and they're able to associate, and they're quite clear that Telugu Desam Party is here to support them, protect them.
Okay. Now we'll move on to the Jana, your other partner. How is working with Pawan Kalyan going to benefit the TDP? Is it because the numbers will come? And if you form the government, what kind of understanding will there be?
No, it's more an ideological understanding that Jaganmohan Reddy is not the right chief minister. Jaganmohan Reddy has unsound mind. Therefore, he is unfit to be the chief minister of Andhra Pradesh. And all these decisions are coming to hurt the state. So together we have to ensure that he will never become the chief minister. It's in the interest of the state, in the interest of the people. And that's why we've come together.
Now, I understand political criticism, but is it fair to use words like unfit, unsound
Well, I have proof for it.
Meaning?
So if you look at the first decision that he's taken was to destroy a public building, which he alleged and he claimed that it was illegal. There's no proof of it. And overnight they destroyed a public building. Then comes the 3 capitals. And then they didn't allow Mr. Naidu to go visit Telugu Desam Party Karyakartas when they were beaten up in Palnadu district. When Pawan Kalyan ji tried to come to Andhra, when Mr. Naidu got arrested, from Telangana he was coming to Andhra. His flight was not given permission. He came by road. He was stopped on the border. Then look at where is constitution being implemented in Andhra Pradesh. Therefore, we believe he is unsound man.
Okay, now I don't want to contest that more, but something else that I want to ask is this red book that apparently you have. For the viewers watching, Nara Lokesh faces allegations that there's a red book that he has, which he himself has talked about, where he notes down names of bureaucrats, police, etc. Right? And he has said that we will take action against those people who have been corrupt, etc. So it's been called as the Book of Vendetta. What is this red book?
See, if over the last 4 years and 11 months, some officials have broken the law. They foisted false cases against leaders, cadre, public. I said I'll write their names down. When Telugu Desam Bharatiya Janata Party government comes to power, we will put a judicial inquiry on it. And officials who are found guilty will be tried to the extent of the law permits. That's it.
But is there really a book where you're noting
Yes, I
this?
have showed it. I've showed the book in my Padayatra.
Okay.
In multiple meetings, I did show the book.
But can that not be called politics of vendetta? And are you not creating an atmosphere of fear? Because bureaucrats, unfortunately, have to toe the ruling
No,
party's
that's
line.
unfair to say.
Why?
I mean, then what is the point? If bureaucrats are going to break the law, they rather resign. They've been given a responsibility by constitution to execute and implement the law. They cannot conveniently now say, because the government told me, I have done this. You're duty bound to implement the law. Then where is law and order? Then what's the point? Then why do we need a constitution? Then any government can come. I can force them to do whatever they are supposed to do. Then I can implicate anyone on the planet, send anyone to jail. Then where is the end of it? So officials are responsible to implement the law. And they are duty bound to it. So if you break the law now, you cannot say that because they told me to break the law, I broke the law.
How many people are there on this list?
You will know it after we come to the power.
Okay, so is Jaganmohan Reddy also on that book or some other book? But are you going to be looking, if you all do come to power, then will we see TDP going after Jaganmohan Reddy?
It's not about going after Jaganmohan Reddy. If you look at, there's been a huge scams. The first scam is around sand. So there have been illegal sand mining. Central government has passed multiple orders to stop, they didn't stop. Supreme Court has passed multiple orders to stop illegal sand mining, did not stop. They destroyed the environment. Now, in each of the reaches, there's close to 30 feet of sand that was excavated illegally, sold at an exorbitant price. Public has suffered. Definitely, we're going to inquire around it. Second is the liquor mafia. It's spirit. People have died. Definitely, you need to understand what has happened. Because there was a liquor policy that's been in the state for almost 4 or 5 decades. No one ever touched it. This man came, it became his own coterie. It was operated by companies leased out by people around him, including ex-Rajya Sabha member, his own advisors, and all of them have done. So we need to inquire. Then land. In revenue records, like they've just grabbed land, randomly changed names, and a lot of complaints have come to me during Padayatra. So around these three, definitely we will put an inquiry.
Because you mentioned liquor, I want to ask about the Maguna family, who's now contesting from Ongole, somebody who was accused in the liquor scam. Why did you give the ticket to him? And you do know all the controversies that has happened around the liquor scam.
Sena Reddy is not part of it. It is his son who was part of
but
it.
But the father also is very much part of the charge sheet, where he's the one who's supposed to have called Arvind Kejriwal, if you go by what the ED has said.
Correct. Now the point is, when Telugu Desam Party was in power, never ever did any scam happen. It all depends on the leadership. So we are quite clear that in Andhra Pradesh or in Telangana, we've never done anything wrong and we will not do anything wrong.
But you could have refrained from giving him the ticket.
So that is a political decision that we have taken, that we need strong leadership in that particular district, and we have taken the decision to go forward.
Okay. My final question to you is about Amaravati. So when you come back, we will see Amaravati as the capital of Andhra Pradesh?
That's been Telugu Desam Party stand. Telugu Desam Sena and Bharatiya Janata Party stand.
You have to keep reminding yourself to say the
stand
names.
corrected.
Yeah.
It's Telugu Desam Sena and Bharatiya Janata Party stand that it's one state, one capital, and that should be Amaravati. Because everyone agreed to it, including Jaganmohan Reddy, when the bill was tabled, when he was the leader of opposition. He agreed to it, and he just took a J turn now for it. So there's nothing beyond that. So it should be one capital. And I mean, anyone with sound mind will have one capital. It's quite clear.
But tell the people of Andhra Pradesh, what is the work left now? How long will it actually take to realize this dream of Amaravati?
See, all the core infrastructure will get done in the next 5 years. No second thought about it. But see, capital is an ongoing project. There's never an end to it. Like there's never end to Hyderabad's growth. So capital cities will have never end. I mean, no city will have an end or a deadline for its growth to be completed. But if you look at all the institutions that Telugu Desam Party brought into Amaravati, they're today creating jobs. One SRM university is creating close to 2,000 direct jobs in Amaravati. So it's a testimony to the work that we've done. If all the institutions would have come, it would have been to the next level. At least 100,000 people would have worked here. So we're going to finish all the key infrastructure projects, all the major marquee companies coming in and investments coming. We'll finish it in the next 5 years.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's Nara Lokesh telling us that once they come to power, Amaravati will be back. And yes, we will keep a tab of the Red Book.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This election season, your right to choose puts you at the heart of it again.
We'd like to be your eyes and ears.
Choose the journalism and media that serves democracy and you.
Simply log on to newslaundry.com/2024 election fund and choose an amount of your choice for the reports of your choice.